have double the breast cancer rates as Caucasian women. Breast cancer is not a death sentence. These women have found their new normal and have been a true part of the painted pink fabric, especially within the last 5 years. And each of you have a special story that you are prepared to share. I'm so excited. Yes. All right, so we're gonna start off with Jessica. Jessica, you were diagnosed at 22, but the journey to advocating for your own health is also inspiring. Can you share a little bit about noticing the differences in your body and the journey that you went on?
Okay, hi again everybody, my name is Jessica Florence. I was diagnosed at the age of 22. Started back in 2014. I was in school, in college at the time, I was 19. And I noticed I was getting sicker more than usual, and I started having some chest pain. So I decided to go home to figure out what was wrong. So I took some time off of school. By 2015, I went to go get my pap smear, my AO pap smear. I went to my gyno, and I started noticing some changes in my breast. I had a lump in my breast. Also, my nipple was inverted, and I asked her about it. I was like, what's this about? I'm noticing these changes. Is there anything you can tell me? So she tells me that I'm too young to have breast cancer, so she didn't think that's what it was, but it may just be fibroids, or at the time, my breasts were fairly larger at the time as well, so she thought there might be just some inconsistencies. She sent me to a clinic, and at that clinic, they gave me an ultrasound, but I asked for a mammogram as well. She sent me to get a mammogram and the ultrasound, but they told me that I was too young to have a mammogram as well. So that was 2015, and by 2016, it was February, the lump had grown very large at that time. You could see it through my shirt, so I'm like, there has to be something going on. I started looking up, doing my own research. I searched Google, and Google told me I had breast cancer. So I'm like, okay, well, Google, you told me I got breast cancer, so let me go see if I can get this taken care of. At the time, my insurance had changed as well, so I went to a naval hospital in Jacksonville, and the woman that I saw, she looked at me and was like, I don't want to say it's that, but, and everybody knows what that is, but what I'm going to do is protocol. So protocol was to get the ultrasound, mammogram, and a biopsy, and nobody had biopsied me, which was crazy. And I saw that on Google as well, that when you get a biopsy, they take a sample of the tumor to test if it's breast cancer or not. So I got the biopsy, and by May 25th of 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was 22 at the time, still trying to pursue school. And by then, the breast cancer had moved into my lymph nodes. So if I didn't push myself and advocate for myself, then who knows what my sentence would have been. I probably would have been dead, or it could have been worse. It could have went to my bloodstream and been all over. But I'm here now, I'm 25, and
it's just echo of Dr. Bowman. I mean, being your own advocate, as I'm sure everyone is going to be able to kind of share some form of that kind of message. Thank you so much for sharing. It takes a moment to be vulnerable up here. I mean, it's a safe space, but I mean, I honor everybody for coming up here and sharing your story with so many people. Lakeisha, you were diagnosed when you already established your family, your beautiful family. You also say that you have a co-survivor in your husband. And can you share a little bit about how cancer has impacted your family, and also how it's changed? I mean, it's inevitable that has inevitably changed your lifestyle and your family afterwards.
Sure. I was 38 years old with an established family when I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. I went through months and months of chemotherapy. I went through days and days of radiation therapy. And as I described to you these moments, every sentence begins with I. But breast cancer affects your whole entire family. So through a diagnosis, it impacts everyone. So I can remember my husband and I had just closed on our first home together when I was diagnosed in 2015. Our world just completely stopped, and while most people are enjoying and rejoicing and celebrating a new home, we were trying to figure out how we were going to get through this together as a family and get through the diagnosis together. So it's just a humbling experience for your 9-year-old to lay hands on you and declare healing of your body and pray for you. And it's just so humbling to have so much support. So it is very important to have that support system, family, friends. It's just so important to have that support system, and it's completely changed my life now. And I'm just glad to be here as a testimony, a survivor. I'm 3 years cancer free.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Lanier, your story actually inspired. I know everyone's like, holding back tears, holding back tears. Everyone got their makeup done, so it's your story inspired Paint Pink and the Shower Her campaign. And it's the initiative that when mothers are diagnosed during pregnancy, Paint Pink throws a baby shower for the mommy to be so she could just focus on the new baby and on healing. Can you share a little bit about the journey of being diagnosed as you entered another important stage of life, motherhood?
Hi guys, I'm Lanier, and my journey began in 2016. Woke up one morning, I sleep on my stomach, I felt a lump. Went home, hey, go to the doctor and get it checked out. Went to the doctor, get it checked out. My doctor said, this is abnormal. Go ahead on, do a mammogram and ultrasound, and we'll start from there. I went to have a mammogram and ultrasound, and before anything really got started, I was pulled aside in a special room, and the lady said, I need to talk to you. Well, what could it be? I just got here. She said, you're pregnant, congratulations. We're like, okay. Okay, so we didn't do the mammogram, needless to say, but we went on and had the ultrasound done. They said it probably was pregnancy related because at that time I had a son who was 1, and I breastfed with him. So it probably pregnancy related. Okay, fine, cool, dandy. A couple months passed, and okay, this lump still hurts. Another myth, cancer does hurt. If it's something painful, it can be cancer, get it checked out. Went back to the doctor, I said, I feel the lump growing. Okay, we'll check it out. Once again, Miss Snell, it's probably pregnancy related, everything is fine. The letter came in the mail, benign, probably not cancer, we'll see you later. Okay, I went to my OBGYN, who's amazing. She delivered my son. I said, hey Dr. Godwin, I just don't feel right. She said, if you don't feel right, let's take it seriously, something is wrong. She recommended me to a specialist who was Dr. Bowman. My husband and I went in there, it was February of 2017. We went in before Valentine's Day. It was on Valentine's Day. We went in, I am just bubbly, happily, living my best life. I exercise, I get yearly checkups. So hey, this is going on. I'm sure it's something we can nip in the bud. Check me out. Dr. Bowman gave me this look. She said, well, you know, if it is something to worry about, we will handle it. We've been down this road before. I understand you're pregnant. Sure enough, her and an amazing nurse, Jennifer, they called me back 2 days later. I was at work and my world was turned upside down. I was married, I had a 1-year-old, and I am pregnant. At that moment, you take your time. You don't want to feel rushed into anything. Of course, I told my husband, my in-laws, my parents, like, okay, this is what's going on. We really don't know much. We just need to figure out what is going on. She referred me to my oncologist. And my oncologist took a look at me and she was just like, oh no, we need to do chemo now. Of course, I'm just like, oh no, wait. We can see what's going on. My oncologist, I said, I need some time to think about it. Went back to see Dr. Bowman. I was stage 2 at this point. So I'm like, okay, we had a trip scheduled because life goes on, right? We had a trip scheduled. My husband and I, we went to Las Vegas. The day I got back from Las Vegas, my oncology had called my phone about 3 times. Weird. Pick up the phone, she said, Lanier, I'm sorry, but now it's stage 4. Yeah, my reaction, right? So now it's stage 4 cancer, I'm pregnant, I'm like, okay, no doubt I'm gonna do chemo. I did chemo in my 2nd trimester of pregnancy. I didn't know you can do chemo while being pregnant, but you can. 2nd trimester was the safe trimester. At that point, we had an amazing team. It was Dr. Bowman, she was my surgeon, Dr. Tran was my oncologist, I had a perinatal special, my OB was amazing. It's just a team of doctors around me, and everything was moving at rapid speed. My support system became everything. I had to become an advocate for my own health. Went through the chemo. From chemo, I delivered a healthy baby girl. Delivered the baby, and at that point, my health really got started. You know, we did a couple of the tests. The cancer was in my breast, where it started, to my lymph nodes, to my chest, to my pelvic area, to my spine, and my tailbone. Yet I'm here, I'm happy. My support system has been amazing. And on the journey, Painted Pink, I got in touch with them through Dr. Bowman's office, and it is a lot. It was a lot on my plate. But the Shower Her campaign was amazing because you go home and you're dealing with a lot and your family's there for you. And to get these gifts at your doorstep, you're like, what is this? Who sent this gift? Oh my God, yes, what am I gonna get tomorrow? It is a distraction. It is a great distraction. The little baby came along. It has been a wonderful distraction. I had like 10 people came here today, flew in from Louisiana to support me. They have been quite a team. I am here, I am alive. It has been amazing. One day at a time, ladies. One day at a time.
Thank you so much. I mean, powerful stories all around. I'm sure many of you probably have similar stories or just as powerful. I mean, just, again, I have to honor you for being so vulnerable. Everyone who's standing up here to share your story. Thank you again. And I want to touch on something that you actually said, like you're the only one, you're in your body. Your doctor is not inside your body. So if you know something is wrong, you know something is wrong. And you have to trust that, and you have to find the right doctor to listen to you and heed that advice and be able to work together. So that's just like stuck out to me. I was like, you have to listen, because listening to your body, that's key for so many illnesses. Thank you. So, Danica, your passion to educate and support survivors, that, like yourself, you're also a survivor. That has been a heartbeat for Painted Pink. You advocate the importance of keeping the conversation going as well as that support going. Can you share what support looked like you and also your story?
Yes. So my story starts with, I was sitting in the doctor's office being told I had breast cancer the day after a coworker of mine had passed from breast cancer. So needless to say, I was freaked out. I was crying. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have my mom or anybody there because I thought it was just going to be a fibroid. I had this small lump. The gynecologist was just like, I don't know what that is. You should go upstairs and make an appointment. So thank God I did go upstairs because I'm known for putting things off. And I was told I possibly breast cancer. 3 days later, it was breast cancer. So my support system was my mom and my sister closely. The day I was diagnosed, my sister packed a bag and moved in with me. And we shared my studio apartment with my cat, her dog, and we just made it happen. And my mom, she was looking up things. She came to all of my doctor's appointments. She was asking questions that, I didn't even know or think to ask. But I also found support through Instagram because it was still very, sorry, I tried. I felt very alone because you sit in a mammogram office and you're like the youngest one there. You're sitting with all these older women, they have all kinds of things in common to talk about, and you're just there. But through Instagram, I was able to find a whole community of women that were either going through breast cancer or had breast cancer at the time, and I was able to scroll and look at their stories, look at the bald pictures, look at the chemo pictures, look at the surgery pictures, and it felt a whole lot less alone. Now I was too shy to reach out to anybody, but just starting to follow them, just keeping up with their stories. Some people were like 5 years past, but I would spend all night just scrolling down just to find like where the story began. So it was definitely a support system. Thank you.
You also inspired you also helped in creation of the Painted Pinks planner. And I'd love to hear more, and we would all love to hear about your part in that.
So one of the conversations I had with Anne-Marie, we were having just a funny conversation, and I was telling her that, I don't need one more notebook or one more pair of socks. And just laughing about, when people want to shower you with love and with gifts, they look online and they just say, okay, I'm gonna put together this gift basket. So I had more socks and notebooks that I knew what to do with. But during my journey, I regret not writing down my story in a journal. I didn't do it. I wasn't in the mood to, I didn't know where to start. So the idea with the planner is for women to be able to, of course, keep up with their appointments and things that's going on in their lives, but a place for them to write down their thoughts and their feelings through writing prompts, because sometimes you just don't know where to start. So in the book, we've written down questions, and that's a great starting point for you to start writing down your thoughts and your feelings. We also have the self-care area of the book where we give ideas on podcasts, ideas for ways to take care of yourself while you're going through such a sensitive time. You also get to hear from other survivors, and you get to hear their aspect of their journey. So having those quotes, you feel less alone. And that's one of the things that I hope for all newly diagnosed cancer patients is for them to seek out other survivors or other cancer patients so that you feel less alone. It's funny how we'll sit here and we'll talk about different things, and to others it may sound like, oh my gosh, shocking, but to us it's funny, or to talk about your breast and it's funny, or it's just normal. But to others it just may be like, oh my gosh, you poor thing. And it's like, no, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm still driving. So that's the main purpose behind the planners, for them to feel less alone and to, at the end of their journey, have a keepsake. It sounds weird, but you want those memories sometimes to reflect on.
I love that throughout everyone's stories, I mean, there's the message of hope, there's strength, there's courage, but then there's also, I mean, you can sense that fear when you're starting off. And I think, I mean, even if you have had that benign tumor, I mean, there's that fear that crosses your mind. I mean, I personally, I've had that experience too, where it's like, oh my gosh, I have something there. And so with my family history, it's definitely something that we keep an eye on. With this being the 5th annual Painted Pink Brunchin', I want to ask all of you ladies, why is it so important? Why, in your own opinion, why do you think it's so important to have these types of organizations and these kind of events to bring in survivors like all of you and everyone's loved ones together?
For me, this organization is important because it bridges the gap when you do feel like an outcast. When you go to the doctor's appointments and you see people that don't look like you or are not in your age range or just cannot relate or give you suggestions, you're like, okay, no, or I don't know how, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources to do this. So to come across younger women that are similar to myself, it makes you feel a part of a sisterhood, that you are not alone. You can have a team of survivors, but if they don't go through what you have gone through, it's very hard to relate or to tell the story to, or to say something small when they understand the significance of that little thing that someone did or someone said. So this event and these people around me is just a community, and I do appreciate it.
I want to piggyback off of Lanier. I just want to say that the support is very, very, very important and vital when going through something like this. I remember when I called my mom. My mom was the first person that I called when I had breast cancer, and my mom did not shed one tear. She was like, oh, Jessica, it's okay. You're gonna get through it. Like, she did not shed one tear. I'm like, Mom, why are you not mad with me? Like, what are you doing? But she was so reassuring that we were gonna get through this. And Painted Pink is like my mom. Like, the support is there and the community is there. They give you the resources that you need so you won't feel alone and so that you don't feel alone. And I now feel beautiful. I now feel more confident because of the things that they've done for me and reached out to me, and like I said, the resources are there for me. So I do appreciate you, Painted Pink, for reaching out and being that mother for me as well.
For me, when I was diagnosed, I thought I was gonna die. I was just like, let me start planning my will. And so for me, this organization is important because it's very important to me because I like to see other survivors, other people that are surviving with me, and it's just good to have somebody who you can relate to. You know, you speak of co-survivors with your husband or your spouse or your family or your mom, but to have a camaraderie with someone else who's gone through it, it kind of helps you get through it just a little bit better.
Okay. For me, Painted Pink was important because I wasn't seeing any other brown girls in any of my appointments. I found them on Instagram, of course, but they were, in other states, and of course, I'm too shy to say anything to anyone. So, coming to different events and seeing like other brown girls and be like, oh my gosh, you had breast cancer, you're gorgeous. Oh my gosh, you had breast cancer. It was amazing. And then you have these friends who you can, follow on Instagram, and when you see them at different events, give big hugs. And Anne-Marie's just been so like welcoming to me, and she reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to be on this planner or help me with this planner? And I was like, of course I do. And I was, very happy that she even asked me to.
Another thing about this organization, a lot of times we don't fit in. We may look normal, or we may be laughing or smiling, but we don't fit in. We have our own battles that we're dealing with daily, and we know this. And you don't want to say, oh, I'm tired today, and it's like, oh yeah, you're tired from work, or you're tired from the kids, and it's like, no, I'm on this medication. And you don't want to say this to people, so you hold all of these things in. So when you're at an event like this and you can say, I'm tired, or this medicine has me feeling hormonal, you can say it and you feel secure and safe, that someone can relate to you and you're not an outcast. Because oftentimes we don't fit in. So to come here is like, oh, I'm comfortable, I fit in. Yes, thank you, ladies, Confidence.
That's another thing. I've always had trouble public speaking, and Painted Pink, I don't know how many times I've spoken for you guys, and I'm like, I'm nervous. But each time I get up and speak for them, I gain that confidence boost every time I come up here. So I do thank you for that as well.
And I have a little tidbit that's very interesting. Lakeisha and Danica, you both have twin sisters. And they haven't been diagnosed with breast cancer. Are they here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Hi, twins. Oh, there they are. Now, they were not diagnosed with breast cancer. Tell us about that journey together. I mean, that connection and stuff like that.
It was very difficult. I had to be strong for her. I was the one diagnosed, and I remember having to tell Brandy that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I tried to be so hard. Like, I was just like, girl, it's gonna be fine. I'll get over it, and we'll get through it. But I had to be strong for her, and then she had to be strong for me. And it's funny because when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I didn't believe it was breast cancer because she has a history also of having lumps, fibroid adenoma, which is a benign tumor in your breast. So when they found a lump in my breast, I said, no, there's no way. I probably just had the same thing that my twin sister has. So I was also misdiagnosed, and I had to learn early on that it's very important to be an advocate for your own health. I ended up finding a better doctor, which was Dr. Bowman, and she immediately ultrasounded my breast. She did a biopsy, and it was turns out that it was breast cancer. But just having a twin sister, it's hard to explain, but we are almost the same person. And whatever I go through, she goes through. This morning, she called me up. She said, "Keisha, we're in this together. You're gonna be fine," because she knows I get nervous when I speak in front of a crowd. But it's kind of like we have twin powers. We kind of know, we think the same thing, we laugh at the same thing, we say the same thing at the same time. So she's definitely a co-survivor.
Like I said, my sister and I, we moved in together, and I would say one of the things that I'll always be grateful to my sister for is that, everyone else was very gentle with me. "Oh, you don't have to, Danica. Oh, I'll do it for you, Danica." And my sister was the one to be like, "No, I know you're not that tired. Get up, come and wash your clothes. Come on, clean up this house." And she kept me going. She knew when to push. She knew when to, be like, "All right." But, while everybody else was around here babying me, she was the one to be like, "Ain't nothing wrong with her. Get up, come on." So that's something that I'll always be grateful to her for. I don't know if she ever really felt scared for herself. I think it was, all the attention was on me and making sure that I had everything that I needed. For her, it was never a thought that maybe she even needed to go to the doctor, but I told her, you should go to the doctor. And so she goes every 6 months just to have her breast checked. They're not doing any medical, mammograms or anything, but they are just doing checks on her breast every 6 months. And I support my sister by sharing the information that I get when I go to the doctor. So healthy eating, living an active lifestyle, because this is something that if we can prevent happening to another woman in our family, or even my friend circle, I'm constantly talking about, here's what you should be eating. And I probably get on people's nerves, but, I think it's important.
Let's give these ladies another round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. You guys, I feel like I know I feel like I know everyone so intimately. I'm sorry guys, don't mind us, hugs all around. Thank you so much. Please keep your seat, and I believe I'm going to be calling up